If you're over 60, there's a quiet danger sitting on your plate right now, something you've probably eaten your entire life, and it may be slowly working against your heart, your blood sugar, and even your energy levels without you realizing it. I've seen patients do everything right: walking daily, taking their medications, avoiding sugar, and yet their health continues to slip. And when we finally look deeper, the issue isn't always what they're doing. It's what they're eating every single day without question. Before we go further, if you care about your health and want simple, evidence-based guidance like this, take a moment to like this video and subscribe. It helps more people see this information, and it might genuinely make a difference for someone who needs it. Now, what I'm about to tell you might surprise you. Not all vegetables are as harmless as we've been taught to believe, especially as we age. Your body at 60 is not the same as it was at 30. Your metabolism slows, your insulin sensitivity changes, your gut reacts differently, and your blood vessels become more vulnerable. Most people don't realize that certain vegetables, especially when eaten in the wrong form at the wrong time or in excess, can spike blood sugar, increase inflammation, or even interfere with digestion. And the problem is, these effects are subtle. They don't cause immediate pain. They build slowly, quietly, until one day you're wondering why your energy is low, why your blood sugar readings are creeping up, or why your doctor is concerned about your heart. I've seen this happen too many times. People trust that vegetables are always healthy, and while that's partly true, it's not the full story, especially not after 60. But here's the good news. There are also vegetables that can do the opposite. Foods that may help support stable blood sugar, improve circulation, and reduce strain on your heart. And the difference between the wrong ones and the right ones is more important than most people think. So stay with me, because the next few minutes might change the way you look at your plate forever, and possibly help you avoid a mistake that so many people only realize when it's already affecting their health. Let me start with something that often catches people off guard. The way certain vegetables behave inside your body is very different from how they appear on your plate. Take starchy vegetables, for example. Many people over 60 rely on them because they feel comforting, filling, and familiar. Foods like potatoes are often seen as simple, harmless staples. But what most people don't realize is how quickly these foods can break down into glucose once consumed, especially when your metabolism has slowed with age. I've had patients tell me, "Doctor, I don't eat sweets, so why is my blood sugar rising?" And when we look at their meals, it's often these hidden sources, foods that don't taste sugary but act like sugar in the body. As we age, the body becomes less efficient at managing blood glucose spikes. That means foods that once had little impact can now cause noticeable changes. And over time, repeated spikes may contribute to fatigue, weight gain around the abdomen, and increased strain on the cardiovascular system. What's even more concerning is how these foods are typically prepared. Boiled, mashed, fried. Each method changes how quickly they affect your system. The softer and more processed the texture, the faster the absorption. I'm not saying these foods must be eliminated completely. That kind of extreme thinking often leads to frustration and inconsistency. But awareness is critical. Portion size, frequency, and preparation method all matter more than people think. I've seen individuals improve their energy levels simply by adjusting how often they eat these foods and pairing them with fiber-rich vegetables or proteins that slow absorption. Small changes, but powerful ones. And this is where many people miss the bigger picture. It's not just about avoiding sugar. It's about understanding how your body interprets what you eat. Because once you begin to see food not just as taste, but as a signal to your body, everything changes. And what I'm about to share next is another common vegetable that seems harmless, but may quietly be contributing to inflammation and digestive discomfort in ways most people never suspect. There's another vegetable that often surprises people when I bring it up, because it's commonly marketed as healthy, light, and even diet-friendly. But for many adults over 60, it may not be as supportive as it seems. I'm talking about certain types of canned vegetables. Now, this isn't about the vegetable itself. It's about what happens during processing. Most people don't realize that canned vegetables often contain added sodium, preservatives, and, in some cases, altered nutrient profiles due to heat exposure during packaging. I've seen patients who are doing their best to eat vegetables daily, yet they're unknowingly consuming far more sodium than their body can comfortably handle. And over time, this can place additional strain on blood pressure and cardiovascular health. What makes this particularly tricky is that the effects aren't immediate. You don't feel it the moment you eat it, but gradually, it can contribute to fluid retention, subtle increases in blood pressure, and even feelings of sluggishness. And for those already managing heart concerns or blood sugar levels, these small hidden factors can add up in ways that are easy to overlook. What I'm about to tell you might surprise you. Even the texture and softness of canned vegetables can play a role. Because they're already partially broken down, your body may absorb certain components more quickly, which can affect blood sugar stability in sensitive individuals. Again, this doesn't mean you must completely avoid canned vegetables. Life isn't always perfect, and convenience matters. But choosing low-sodium options, rinsing them thoroughly, and balancing them with fresh, fiber-rich foods can make a meaningful difference. I've seen this happen too many times, people believing they're making the best choice, while small details quietly work against them. And this is exactly why understanding the how behind food matters just as much as the what. Because once you start paying attention to these details, you begin to take control in a way that most people never do. And now let's shift towards something more empowering. Because not all vegetables create these challenges. Some can actually support your body in ways that become more valuable with every passing year. Now let me show you the other side of the story. The vegetables that your body may quietly be asking for, especially after 60. Because while some foods can create subtle challenges, others can gently support your system in ways that feel almost like a reset. One of the most overlooked categories is leafy greens. I know, it sounds simple, almost too simple. But most people don't realize just how powerful these vegetables can be when consumed consistently and prepared properly. Leafy greens like spinach, kale, and similar varieties are rich in compounds that may help support blood vessel health, improve circulation, and contribute to more stable blood sugar levels. What makes them especially valuable is their fiber content. As we age, digestion can slow down, and the gut becomes more sensitive. Fiber plays a crucial role in helping regulate how quickly nutrients, especially glucose, enter the bloodstream. I've seen patients who struggled with energy dips and inconsistent blood sugar readings begin to feel more stable simply by incorporating more of these foods into their meals. But here's something most people don't realize. It's not just about eating them occasionally. Consistency matters more than quantity. Adding a small portion daily, whether lightly sautéed, blended into a soup, or included in a simple meal, can create a steady, supportive effect over time. And another important point, preparation matters. Overcooking can reduce some of the beneficial compounds, while lightly cooking or steaming can make them easier to digest for those with sensitive stomachs. What I'm about to say is something I tell many of my patients. Your body doesn't need perfection. It needs consistency, and these vegetables offer exactly that. Gentle, steady support without overwhelming your system. If you've been feeling like your energy isn't what it used to be, or your body isn't responding the way it once did, this might be one of the simplest places to start. And there's another vegetable, often underestimated, that may play an even more surprising role in supporting your heart and blood sugar. There's a vegetable that many people walk right past in the market, not realizing that it may offer one of the most supportive effects for the aging body. It doesn't look special, it doesn't have a bold flavor, and it's rarely the star of a meal. But sometimes, the quietest foods are the ones your body appreciates the most. I'm talking about bitter vegetables, especially those like bitter gourd. Now I understand, not everyone enjoys the taste. In fact, many people avoid it entirely because of its strong, slightly harsh flavor. But what I'm about to tell you might change the way you think about it. Bitter vegetables contain compounds that are being studied for their potential role in supporting blood sugar balance. While they are not a replacement for medical treatment, they may help the body respond more effectively to glucose when included as part of a balanced diet. I've seen patients who began incorporating small amounts of bitter vegetables a few times a week, and over time, they noticed subtle but meaningful improvements in how they felt after meals. Less heaviness, fewer energy crashes, a more stable sense of well-being. And this is where mindset becomes important. Instead of viewing food only through the lens of taste, consider what it does for your body. Because sometimes, the foods that challenge your taste buds are the ones quietly supporting your health. Of course, preparation plays a big role here. Cooking methods that reduce bitterness, like light sautéing or pairing with other vegetables, can make it more enjoyable without losing its benefits. And again, this is not about extremes. It's about gentle, consistent inclusion, because your body responds best to steady support, not sudden changes. And there's one more vegetable that I often recommend, one that works in a completely different way, supporting not just blood sugar, but also your heart and overall vitality. There's something I often tell my patients, especially those over 60. Your body is always communicating with you. The challenge is learning how to listen before those signals become louder and harder to ignore. And one of the most powerful ways to support that communication is through foods that nourish your body at a deeper level. One such vegetable is garlic. Now, it may not always be thought of as a vegetable in the traditional sense, but its impact is worth paying attention to. Garlic contains natural compounds that have been studied for their potential role in supporting heart health, circulation, and even immune function. And as we age, these areas become increasingly important. I've seen individuals who felt constantly fatigued, slightly sluggish, and not quite themselves begin to feel a subtle shift after incorporating small, consistent amounts of garlic into their meals. Nothing dramatic, no overnight transformation, but a gradual sense of improvement, the kind that builds quietly over time. What most people don't realize is that garlic works best when it's used regularly, not occasionally. Small amounts, added to daily cooking, can provide ongoing support without overwhelming the system. And here's something interesting. Letting garlic sit for a few minutes after chopping before cooking may help preserve some of its beneficial compounds. Again, these are small details, but small details often create the biggest long-term impact. Because health after 60 is rarely about one big decision. It's about a series of small, consistent choices that either support your body or slowly work against it. And when you begin to understand this, you start to see your meals differently, not just as food, but as daily opportunities to support your heart, your blood sugar, and your overall well-being. And now, let me bring this all together in a way that might change how you approach your plate starting today. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this, it's this simple but powerful truth. Not everything labeled as healthy works the same way for your body, especially after 60. I've seen too many people follow general advice without realizing that their body has different needs now. And by the time they notice something feels off, it's often been building quietly for years. But the moment you become aware, you have the ability to change direction. You don't need to overhaul your entire diet overnight. In fact, that rarely works. What matters is awareness, intention, and consistency. Pay attention to how your body responds after meals. Notice your energy levels. Observe how you feel an hour later, not just while you're eating, because your body is always giving you feedback. And when you begin to make small adjustments, reducing certain foods that may not support you as well anymore, and adding those that gently nourish your system, you start to create a different outcome. One that feels more stable, more balanced, more in tune with what your body actually needs. Most people don't realize how much control they still have over their health at this stage of life. But I've seen it firsthand. I've seen people regain energy they thought was gone. I've seen improvements in blood sugar stability simply through consistent, thoughtful choices. I've seen individuals feel more confident, more in control, and less uncertain about their health. And it often starts with something as simple as what's on their plate. So the next time you prepare a meal, pause for just a moment and ask yourself, is this supporting my body or just filling me up? Because that one question, asked consistently, can quietly transform your health over time. And if this message resonated with you, stay connected. There's so much more your body is trying to tell you, and I'll be here to help you understand it.